right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erica Fernandez. I am the project manager with Pinnacle Construction from the FIU Department of Construction Management. We'd like to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to present on the Epic One office building. As you can see, joining me today are my wonderful teammates. I'll start with our General Superintendent, Rico Salguero, our Safety Manager, Marco Garcia, and our Lead Estimator, Amber Zabala. Here at Pinnacle, we pride ourselves with the amount of knowledge we've both shared and gained through our 20 years of past experiences. As a Miami-based office, expanding our services nationwide has been critical to our success. Through our constant search for new challenges, we've successfully achieved an EMR score of 0.79. We also proudly hold the title of a Gold ABC STEP member company and have achieved 47 construction awards throughout our time. Our attention to detail and constantly adopting innovative construction methods have allowed us to push new frontiers in the timely and successful completion of our projects, all the while maintaining our clients' visions at the forefront of our focus. We stand true to our core values of team fluidity and loyalty, and know that without our collaborative and unified team, we would not have the successes that have brought us to where we are today. As I mentioned, our team has been successful over the past 20 years, completing over 100 projects throughout the United States, including 74 office buildings. We wanted to highlight a few of our recently completed projects that are most similar to the Epic One office building. First, we have the Park Avenue West office building in Portland, Oregon. It was completed in 2016. Similar to the Epic, this high-rise office building was constructed as a cast-in-place structure with an exterior curtain wall system. We highlighted this project because the envelope was created to complete the LEED Silver certification criteria and left us with great knowledge on the construction impacts of building near the MAX light rail line. Second is a 9-story Cummins Indy distribution headquarters in Indianapolis, Indiana, that was completed in 2017. The experience that we gained while constructing the post-tensioning system, along with its intricate curtain wall envelope, will also benefit us during the erection of the Epic structure. Lastly, the Class A office and retail building, 801 Barton Springs office building in Austin, Texas, completed in 2018. The stacked construction of a 9-floor office atop a 5-level cast-in-place garage, along with its unitized curtain wall system and cladded garage exterior, will help us with any potential obstacles that may arise. Moving on to our project team, you'll see the team members that we've allocated as on-site staff. Our team members, like our lead estimator, will be brought in through any period of the project to help with their respective items, as well as some startup and closeout components. Other members, along with our assistant project manager and field engineer, will be there throughout the project's life cycle. Our superintendents will also stay for the duration of their respective scopes. I'll pass it on now to our safety manager, Marco.
Good afternoon. At Pinnacle, safety is our top priority. Pinnacle's goal is that the entire workforce leaves the site the same way as they arrived. Safety is the basis for all activities, and creating a safe workplace is truly everyone's responsibility. Creating a culture that prioritizes safety is a feat only possible with contribution from upper management to the various trades. Our team has identified potential risks and hazards associated with the construction of Epic One and come up with various mitigation plans to maintain an accident and incident-free project. Regarding COVID-19, Pinnacle has implemented the most stringent CDC guidelines into the safety plan. The installation of the curtain wall in severe weather or tornadoes present risks to both our workforce and the surrounding community. Pinnacle has created a detailed plan for each scenario, which puts personal protective equipment at the last line of defense. This animation provides a detailed breakdown of the personnel, PPE, and other equipment necessary for the installation of each curtain wall unit. The majority of the curtain wall installation will be completed using the site's tower cranes. The entire hoisting operation will be surrounded with barricades indicating the control access zone. Post-buck hoist removal, the installation of the remaining curtain wall system will be completed utilizing a mini crane with vacuum attachment or a rooftop davit crane if necessary. At Pinnacle, quality is of utmost importance. Procore is an important tool that Pinnacle uses for project management and quality control tracking. Procore is a cloud-based platform that can be accessed around the clock. Documents including inspection reports, RFIs, submittals, and progress updates are some of the many features that can be accessed through Procore. Pinnacle's quality control team works hand in hand with the commissioning consultant and the owner's commissioning team to ensure Epic One operates as intended. The owner's building operator and staff will be trained for maintenance and operations post-turnover. The individuals within this diagram work in tandem to ensure the entire project exceeds the owner's expectations. Next, Rick will be introducing our project planning information.
Thank you, Marco. Here at Pinnacle, we believe that a successful project starts with clearly defined goals and like to think of our plan as a roadmap for our stakeholders. Prior to creating the schedule, we have incorporated site logistics to mitigate any potential risks. In our site utilization plan, we have identified various critical components, starting with the temporary close down of Hawkins Street in order to obtain site egress and not disrupt ongoing traffic. We have also identified the ideal locations of the temporary trailers and utilities, concrete washouts, and laydown staging area. Lastly, we have also pinned down the detentions A and B work zones, ideal buck hoist locations, and flat top tower crane locations in order to maximize productivity. Next, we have the area breakdown. This displays how we went about into dividing the foundation, superstructure, and exterior current wall sequence of the project to its designated zones and implemented it to the schedule. As you can see, this is our breakdown of the foundation and garage levels of our vertical and horizontal structural elements, which consist of 4 zones. We took advantage of zone 1 and 2 for the office levels to perform all remaining structural work. Lastly, we have the exterior current wall sequence, which is comprised of the 7th and 8th floor, then 9th to 11th, 12th to 16th, first floor storefronts, and finally back to the buck hoist strip. This sequence was displayed and carried out into the project schedule, respectively. Next is an overview of the proposed project schedule, which we are confident for success and plan to have building turnover in 24 months. As shown, we have established essential dates and durations for the distinct sequences of work in order to perform operations safely, efficiently, and allow for trades to begin work earlier, putting the project ahead of the proposed schedule. We have utilized Navisworks to simulate the proposed schedule and demonstrate our sequencing. Items shown in green are seen as in progress. Concurrently with mobilization, we will start site prep and building pad mass excavation while commencing the dewatering process. We anticipate this to take approximately 3 months. Following that, we begin the foundation work in the zone 1 and then continue to zone 2, 3, and 4. Successively, the parking level structure commences, and immediately the erection of structural members will be carried out. Other trades will be released once the parking level structure is 50% complete. Site utilities will begin our work, including the detention structures around the building, while MEPs and rough interior work for the building's interior will also be released. As stated previously, we took advantage of zone 1 and 2 for the office level structure, which, as you can see, it allows for a very rapid vertical erection of structural elements. This shows us here, topped out at 14 months due to this. After topping out, we will commence installation of the exterior current wall system. This process will be done floor by floor. We expect the bulk of the work, with the exception of the buck hoist strip, to be completed in roughly 3 months. Meeting this milestone releases trades to commence dry-in. While this is ongoing, various trades such as elevators, interior finishes, and site improvements will be released. During the final months, the commissioning process and final inspections will occur. We expect building substantial completion to be 23 months and final completion to be 24 months from the notice to proceed. Next, we have Amber to elaborate on the bid summary.
Good afternoon. Pinnacle's initial price is about $76.5 million for our bid lump sum, while our revised price is about $86.4 million for the GMP. For both bid summaries, the general conditions remain the same price, but our initial proposal comprised of about 7.6% of the total price and 3.7% for our fee, whereas our revised was 6.8% for the general conditions and 3.8% for the fee. Since we are self-performing concrete, the scope of work remains consistent throughout both steps. The percentage ratio for the concrete changes proportionally as a revised proposal differed from our initial submission from 35% to then later 30%. During step 2, our prices were revised to account for some of our subcontractor choices, and the following charts highlight the differences in our pricing distribution. This allows for an overall idea of where our costs and resources are being allocated throughout the duration of the Epic One office building project. And once again, here's Erica Fernandez.
Thank you, Amber. Here at our firm, we take your vision to its pinnacle point. As a team, we'd like to extend our most sincere gratitude for giving us the opportunity to present on the Epic One office building. And with that, I'd like to open the floor for any questions you may have.
Congratulations, guys. Well done. We'll go ahead and turn it over to the judges. Amanda, I'm going to start with your team.
Sure. Thanks, guys. Very, very well done presentation. I do have a handful of questions for you. So it looks like you guys do have a lot of good past experience projects under your belt. Can you elaborate on what the biggest lessons learned were from those projects and how you intend to avoid those mistakes here at Epic?
Thanks, Amber. Much like we highlighted with our 3 most recently completed projects, there are always unforeseen problems that could arise. There's always, you know, tasks that need to be completed properly and sequentially, like with the post-tensioning system. A great example is with the 801 project. We had unitized curtain wall systems, so we had to make sure that our schedule was down to the very last second precise, so that we made sure that we didn't have any overruns or any schedule backups or anything like that.
Great. Another question, you elaborate a little bit on Procore during this presentation. Looking at your proposal, you spoke about several other softwares you intend to use. Can you talk about what softwares you're using on this project?
Yes. So we actually have incorporated various softwares, some being Navisworks, as you saw in the simulation, others being the crane time in order to manage the utilization of the crane to maximize productivity. We have also incorporated BIM 360 to keep the project as a whole and communicate throughout any changes that may arise. Another one that we utilize is, as you can see, the rendering was done to Lumion. We use that model to present and showcase how it'll look as a finished product.
Great, that's awesome. Quick question. So we're starting to see in the steel industry, it's becoming very volatile in terms of the costs and what's going on with steel. Can you guys advise if you've seen any longer lead items or higher pricing on any of those impacted scopes?
Sorry, can you please repeat the question? You cut off for a second.
Yeah, the steel market is pretty volatile right now. Has that impacted your pricing or the lead times on that steel material?
As of right now, no, it has not impacted our time. On this project, there is very little steel work to be done, like for example, the canopy, if that's what you mean. But no, it has not impacted any lead times that we can see.
Okay. Can you walk me through a little bit of your crane plan and how you determine the size, the location, and the quantities you guys are using?
Yeah, for the crane plan, the most important cranes on this project are the two tower cranes. We put one on the northeast side of the project, and we put one at the southwest side of the project. They're both going to be very important for the structural work, the structural erection, the curtain wall installation. The tower crane on the northeast, we're going to have on site for about 16 months, and the one on the west for 9 months. And as far as utilization and everything, we picked the best tower cranes that we felt fit for this project. We're going to be using two T-Rex CTT 721B flat top tower cranes. They both have a max jib length of 279 feet and a max capacity of 88,000 pounds.
Great, that's awesome. Last question before I turn over to the other judges. What is the longest lead items you are seeing on this project, and are there any opportunities to expedite?
Yes, so one of the longest lead items that we have on this project is the current wall system. We will work hand in hand with the fabricator and the manufacturer to make sure that when it is ready for installation, it comes in bulks of how it's going to be performed and installed throughout the various levels.
Do you know what the lead time is on the curtain wall?
We expect the lead time to be, typically it takes anywhere from 4 to 5 months for it to be, completely produced.
Okay, great. I will turn it over to Tommy and the other judges.
Thank you, Amanda. So I'm looking, I've got a question for you related to QC. Looking at your exhibit A4, where you've identified which subcontractors you plan to use, you all, in addition to self-performing concrete, have proposed self-performing the commissioning services and the Division 28, life safety and security systems, and then also the site utilities in Division 33. What qualifications does your firm have to do the commissioning and the fire alarm and life safety systems?
Well, I
That's
believe
actually
our,
a great question. Oh, go ahead, Marco. Go ahead. More than welcome.
I'll start it and you can finish after that.
Absolutely.
So I believe our quality control team is headed by our quality control manager. We also have our product executive as part of the team, product manager, quality control manager. We also are going to have a commissioning consultant as part of our team for the Epic One project. Also, our quality control will be handled by our sustainability director and our general super and our area superintendents. And Eric, you want to finish with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all the while we say that we are self-performing, we also like to, at times, especially when we're entering into new areas of business, we like to give the local subcontractors an opportunity to go ahead and be a part of our team through bid invitations and buyouts. And what we'll do is we may not always self-perform it, although we have certain qualifications that we may be able to implement. But we always give our local communities an opportunity to go ahead and take advantage of those positions that we have open before we go ahead and we decide to take over those scopes of work.
Okay, thank you for that. So just for clarity's sake, I want to just understand. So it sounds like you're not going to be self-performing the commissioning and like the life safety systems install. Your intent's to go subcontract those out.
Right. For the time being, we are definitely going to be using a consultant for the commissioning process, one that's also approved by the owner as well. And we believe that the best course of action for Dallas, especially since this is going to be a new market that we're going to be entering into, would be reaching out to our local subcontractors in the area so that they can go ahead and teach us what we don't know about Dallas, regarding codes and regulations.
Okay, thank you. Another question kind of related to your site use plan. It looks like you're planning to use that small parcel planned west that's right across Hawkins Street. And so you all are showing that it looks like the limits of your site extending across Hawkins Street, which will close that down. How are you going to ensure pedestrian safety across the openings of Hawkins Street on both ends? If you're using that as your primary entrance and exit for the job site, and there's going to be construction traffic constantly in and out.
All right, so for our site utilization, we're always going to have flagmen. Oh, I'm sorry, Amber, you want to go ahead?
Sure, thank you. We decided to close down the Hawkins Street by submitting a right-of-way management permit so we could utilize that space for our employees and our staff. Also, we understand that Dallas is a very busy area and that we'd have to take into account our community safety as well as our employee safety. So we decided to have some watchmen and some flagmen that will be utilized in our openings in order to avoid any pedestrians coming into the site or getting hurt, because that is one of our #1 priorities here at Pinnacle.
Okay, so you've got flagmen and spotters essentially watching those entrances the entire duration. Okay. My next question for you is more of an estimate related question. I'm looking at your GCs. You've got approximately $50,000 to $55,000, I think, set aside for building permit costs. Can you explain how you calculated those costs? And are you confident that they're accurate?
Yes, Tommy. I believe that we are fairly accurate. We actually did some research on the Dallas permit and inspection website. We made sure to download all of the appropriate forms that we needed to download in order to submit our submissions for our inspections and our permits. With those forms, there also came certain templates in order to accurately calculate our costs based off of our total summaries.
All right, thank you. I'll turn it over to Chris and Brant for any questions they might have.
Hey guys, this is Brant. Present Go ahead, Brent.
We can't hear anyone speaking.
Grant, you may need to
sorry.
unmute yourself again. It just showed you were unmuted. You should be good.
Okay. Great presentation, guys. Do you guys plan on having a 1-car or 2-car buck hoist?
We actually plan on having a 2-car buck hoist.
Okay, sweet. And then how do you guys with your unitized curtain wall system? What's your plan to coordinate the buck hoist location with the curtain wall trade partner?
So our plan is actually to have the buck hoist in between of how we divided the 2 zones. So we will be performing the bulk of the work, as mentioned previously, and the outside of the area of the buck hoist. And then once that buck hoist is removed, which I believe the duration is about 10 months, we will install that strip of the buck hoist area.
Do you guys plan on performing interior work around the buck hoist area while the buck hoist is still installed?
So thankfully, the bulk of the interior work is more focused towards the center of the building. So anything that is located near the buck hoist exit areas, like the polishing of the concrete for the shell areas, I think that it would be best for everyone to, leave those areas for last, just after the buck hoists have been removed. And the good thing with that is, as you remove level by level, we can begin our work. So that way we know that, we can ensure that everything's done timely.
Okay. And then what's your guys' plan for facade testing to make sure that the curtain wall that you're putting up doesn't have any leaks?
I'm sorry, I lost you in the last couple words.
What's your guys' plan for facade testing?
Well, initially we had gone back and forth and done some research on who it is that we could subcontract in order to be able to have accurate testing done. But then we noticed when we were performing step 2 and choosing our subcontractors that a local subcontractor for the glazing manufactures and performs all of the tests on their manufacturing site before they go ahead and deliver it over. So I'm sure that there would be some sort of warranty involved in there as well, so that we can go ahead and perform our finishing testing once the facade has been installed.
So there will be testing. There will be testing once the facade is on the building, correct?
We would definitely like to have that as part of our delivery to you guys, because we want to make sure that we deliver you guys a full, complete, and functioning building. So yes, absolutely, right. We would find a way to make that happen.
And then last question, do you guys plan on doing any mock-ups? And if so, what are they?
Yes, we have a plan to do interior and exterior material and equipment mock-ups. They're going to be reviewed during pre-construction, and the approved design must be understood and approved prior to construction.
Okay, great. Thank you guys. Good answers.
Hi, that's Chris. Got a couple questions for you. One of the items you listed as a safety concern was COVID-19, although I don't think I heard any elaboration on what measures or procedures would be implemented to mitigate the COVID-19 concerns, or is that from a commodity standpoint? Can you elaborate on what that concern with COVID-19 is?
Yeah, Chris. So prior to entering our construction site, we'll have a greeter at the very front employee entrance gate, and we're going to have them checking temperatures of all employees prior to entering the site. Also, we're going to try to implement social distancing as well as we can. With our meetings, if interior meetings within the trailers cannot be socially distanced, we're going to complete them outside, and that's including the safety meetings that we have monthly. Other than that, we're going to have hand washing stations surrounding the site at various areas, as you can see in the site utilization plan.
Yeah, Marco, just to add to that as well, we're definitely going to be promoting personal hygiene, and we are going to be requiring everyone on site to be using a facial covering of some sort that meets the CDC guidelines, just so that we can expand our protection to everyone.
Okay, thank you. On your site utilization, obviously the project site is close to some DART rail. I don't believe I heard any discussion on what precautions you would be taking, what measures you would be implementing to protect the DART rail line. Can you elaborate on what your plan is for protecting the rail line?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll answer that question first. Thank you. So we definitely are going to continue our traffic safety, as Amber was mentioning earlier, throughout the entire area of our project, not just on Pacific Avenue. We're going to go ahead and extend it through Good Latimer, where the DART is located, just so that we can make sure and mitigate, especially crossing Good Latimer, since we do have a stop just near our project. We would have at least one flagman and one spotter there in the area, so that way we can go ahead and, during peak traffic hours, make sure that everyone's crossing safely and getting to our project safely, as well as leaving our project safely. You know, our main concern is always letting everyone go home the way that they came in. So that's definitely something that we would mitigate. As far as crane safety and traffic safety, we've definitely also implemented in our site utilization plan, as you can see. There is an, I believe it's an egress only area that way, or an ingress only area. That way we can, control how many cars come in and out of Good Latimer, so that there's no potential risks to, abutting or joining into the DART line.
Okay. Speaking of Pacific, obviously the North Facade and the North Foundations are in close proximity to Pacific. What is your supportive excavation plan for the project?
For the project, we plan to have a support retention system along the north side, parallel to Pacific Avenue, and also surrounding the northeast tower crane.
Okay.
And it's going to be a support system with wood lagging and steel bracing, and they're going to have the concrete piles underneath them.
Okay. And will that be the entire excavation, or are you mainly using shoring and lagging at Pacific?
We're planning to only use shoring and lagging along Pacific in the northeast corner around the tower crane. And for the remaining excavation, we're going to be using a sloping technique.
Okay.
Unless it's at a depth where we need to enter that support system.
Okay. Thank you.
Chris, sorry, we need to wrap up.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm sorry.
Yep, we're at.
All right. Congratulations, guys. Well done. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and get logged off. That's going to conclude our presentations for today. We will start back up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Thank you to everyone and congratulations.
Thank you once again. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.